welcome between the hedges to Athens, Georgia and Sanford Stadium, home of the Georgia Bulldogs. As we'll see a squad from the Big Ten, the Washington Huskies, taking on the runner-up from last year's national championship, the Georgia Bulldogs. 3A Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by a couple of legends, and yes, we do. Washington will kick off as this one gets started. He'll bring it out. It's Lacey. It's great to think you're going to score every time you return it, but man, what a bad decision. He's down at the 6. So Georgia's offense will have the football first. We have got a tremendous matchup between these two running backs, both stars in their own right, and David, both ready to make a huge impact.
I mean, how fun is it to have two guys, one on each side, when they have the football, like they can go the distance. Just dynamic speed, great vision. These defenses are in trouble because these guys can touch it a bunch of different ways, and Palmer, they can hit home runs from anywhere on the field.
And I think what makes them really unique too, David, is that they're very versatile guys. Both guys can run between the tackle box, they can take it outside, they can both catch the football as well. So no doubt the game plan for both offenses, feed the running back as many different ways as possible and just let him go to work.
Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. And it's incomplete, deflected, knocked away by the D. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Looking to fire. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact on the play, but no flags. It'll be third down. They'll move the tight end. On third and long, trying to have a big completion here. Working that left side. Across the 50 and knocked out of bounds at the 48. An explosive play gets this offense working.
Well, I think on that play you saw why this guy's such a big weapon in this offense. At receiver, he does such a nice job with his routes. He's patient, and he's consistent, and he's got good hands. You don't see him put a lot of balls on the ground. Nice job there picking up the first down.
Quick release by the QB. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. Second down coming up. Now the play fake. Shoots it to the left. Picked off, and the opening drive is stopped with an interception. Got some room to run. Inside the touchdown, Huskies. The defense does the work itself with a pick 6.
How about a game-changing play for this defense? Stepping in front of the football and knowing what to do with it, taking it all the way to the end zone.
They get set for the point after as we have the first score of the game. And the PAT makes it 7-0. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. Looks like he's going to try to return it. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. And Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. Finding themselves down 7-0, they'd love to get a drive going here. Quick throw, but he's not going anywhere. The defense was all over him. Second down, he'll throw it. With the catch, it's Taylor. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there, still a bit short of the first down. Passing game very effective on second down. What about here on third? From the gun, wants to pass. Here's a hit. That pass not close as he got drilled trying to deliver it, and it'll bring up fourth down. Georgia lining up to punt it away. This will be their first punt of the afternoon. Nestles it in at the 35. Looking for running room, he'll get it to the 43-yard line before he stopped. So Washington's offense will try to get something started with their first possession. A run for the quarterback. Some hard running there, but just too many defenders as he stopped for a loss. Not what they had in mind to start this drive. Here comes 2nd and 13. Looking downfield, it's Hawkins. Just a short pass to the tight end. He makes the stop almost as soon as he catches it, and they're short of the first down. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. He's got it inside the 30. They'll ride him out of bounds after the good pickup spotted at the 25-yard line. The Huskies with the 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. And it's caught! Touchdown, Washington!
Well, one of the areas they really focused on with this receiver in the offseason was we need you to make more plays for us in the end zone. When we're taking shots, we need you to be able to step up and make tough catches. And David, what a grab right there.
And I think a lot of that has to do with trusting your guy, knowing where he's going to be, knowing when he's going to sit down, when he's not, so being on the same page, and then having a guy that can go get it. Just when the ball is near him, he's going to make the play, just like he did right there for 6 points.
Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. They'll send the tight end in motion. They're going to open this drive with a pass. Bought a little time, lets it go. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. Picked up some yardage with that completion, now 2nd down. The play action fake. Throws for the tight end. Got him downfield. And he's to the 48-yard line. That'll be good enough for a 1st down. Timeout called by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll make some adjustments. They'll line up right at the 48-yard line on 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. Wide open downfield. Lots of green grass as he gets it to the 31. 1st and 10. Much room, a pickup of 2 down to the 28. Got 3 on 1st down at 2nd and 7. Red pass, it's complete. He hauled that one in and got it down to the 15-yard line. The Dogs back to the line on 1st down. Let's see if they keep leaning on this running game. From the red zone, it's Robinson. Fights his way ahead. They get him down after a pickup of 3. They'll mark it at the 12. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. He's got it and still on his feet. And he'll run it into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia! And the offense finds a way to cut into this lead. They still have plenty of work to do.
Yeah, they do, but that's a big score. You don't want to get late and start getting in the 2nd half when you're fighting to come back by so many points. So great job getting points, get that momentum back on your side so you can come out and do some good things when you get the ball next time.
Here he comes from inside his own 5. Slips through the line. Just barely able to stop him. He almost housed that baby. The nice return there. That last line of coverage is the only thing that stopped him from scoring. RPO complete to open the drive. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that 1st down marker. All wideouts, no backs. To the air, it's Hawkins. Unloads to the right. He's got it. And they reacted well to the completion, but it was too late to keep him from getting the 1st down. They'll snap it from the 34 on 1st and 10. To the air on 1st down. Incomplete. He had to get rid of it before he wanted to. The defense put the heat on. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. He'll keep it himself. Past the first down marker and still running. And this defense has its work cut out to get this dude on the ground. He was shedding serious tackles on his way to picking up the first. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. And the Huskies have put themselves in dire straits after that last play at 2nd and a mile. Back to pass. Release to the back. Just missed on the connection. Incomplete. The Dogs are barking and growling and trying to hold him here on 3rd down. He's looking to throw. Sets up the screen. Absolutely nowhere to go as this defense makes a 3rd down stop. And on 4th down, they'll try to put 3 on the board. This whole play is going to see if this kicker can operate in a sea of noise. It's good, and that was dead solid perfect. And that will extend their lead even further.
And that's not the way they wanted to end the drive, but nice job being ready and your field goal kicker coming through and putting 3 points on the board.
Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Back in motion, try to clear the picture. He'll start this drive firing. Got it in the middle, it's Taylor. Brought down at the 28, but it's a 10-yard gain. Now on 1st down from the 28. Wants to throw on 1st down. Catch in the middle, it's Taylor. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground covered. Pick up the first. Back to pass on 2nd down. Got it in the middle, it's Williams. They've got it to the 49-yard line, and they'll move the chains.
This guy's done a lot of good things early this year throwing the football. With that last completion, that now takes him over 1,000 yards passing for the year.
The Bulldogs getting set on 1st and 10. Out of the gun, the inside handoff to the running back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. To the air on 2nd down. Got his man on the right. And a good job of coverage by that defense, just a short pickup. Now facing a 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. And the Heat gets home. They knock him down back at the 45.
This definitely isn't the start they drew up. I mean, you already throw a pick 6, now you get sacked. Man, they're going to have to find a way to settle this quarterback down, get something going offensively. So far, not a lot of positives to point to.
He'll get it out to about the 20-yard line, and that's where they'll mark him down. A lot of field in front of them as they open this possession from their own 20. Looking for space, it's Tatum. And how about the work up front by that big defensive line? They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Makes the grab on the left. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Here comes this home crowd as the defense tries to get off the field on 3rd down. Back to throw, it's Hawkins. Fires to the big fella. Really nice job to get it past the sticks, pick up the 1st down at the 30. Give to the running back. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. Oh, they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go. Fires to the wideout. Almost had the completion, just missed it. Ball's at the 29. Defense can taste getting off the field. It's 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Under heavy pressure, lets it fly. Intercepted. Trying to take it back. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception.
Sometimes the quarterback puts that zip on it. You can hear it. Sometimes he uses the lob wedge where it takes a little time to get there. That time, he used the lob wedge, and the defender came in and made the interception. Big play for this defense early.
at this Bulldog offense. They're quickly in a 10-point hole, trailing 17-7 and needing to put together a drive. And the defense snows him under after a very short game. Going to swing it on second down. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. Touchdown, Dogs! He broke away from the defense, and they couldn't catch him.
Man, this guy is an elite tight end. This guy is a dude. He keeps making plays like this. We're going to start comparing him to Brock Bowers and Kyle Pitts. The run after the catch, the big body, the athletic ability. He has it all.
I'm not going to argue if this production keeps up as we start the second. Stadium buzzing, kickoff team on the field, and we are ready to get this thing started. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. And Washington is ready to go back on the attack. Last drive ended with an interception, and they can't afford to have that happen again. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short game there. Plenty of work to do here on second and long. Off play action. Hit as he throws. It's incomplete, and I tell you, this sophomore quarterback's lucky to get that one back. The Dogs are off the leash and coming after him on third down. He tosses one high and deep down the left side. And they ruin an early drive with the turnover. He managed a few yards on that return, but the bigger play was the fact that they forced the turnover. And now the offense will come onto the field again. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back. Pretty good job of running to get there to the 32. After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. Good job running tough and behind his pads as he gets up to the 38-yard line. And the Dogs come to the line on 3rd and short, hoping to keep the drive alive. On 3rd and short, the run and looking for the first down. Stopped in the backfield, and this defense has forced him into 4th down. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Really good job by the coverage team to make the stop, and that's where they'll put it in play. The Huskies have it back, trying to make this defense bow down to Washington. Mistakes are going to happen, as they did on that last drive. Now, how will they respond, Jesse?
And this is the kind of guy who's going to take full accountability. That was my bad. That's on me. I'm about to lead this offense now down the field and score some points.
Dang, Palmer, I wish I would have played with you. I didn't play with many quarterbacks that were just like, yeah, my bad. Hey, guys, I got this. Sorry about that. It was more...
Lost one deep down the right side. And it's incomplete. Good play downfield by the DB. Working well behind the sticks on 2nd down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Now adjusting. Breaks into the open. He gets the job done, picking up the first down, then getting down. Washington has it and a fresh set of downs. Unloads quickly. The margin for error so small in a conference like this, and in Big Ten play, really imperative to get off to a good start.
We really focus on all offseason getting off to such a great start, right? Start fast, win our conference. Well, this is step one, and so I think you're so tired of hitting your own colored jerseys, by the way. You're excited when you get in conference play. You start to get some of that familiarity, some of that also that hatred that you have for these other teams. So the Big Ten is a fun conference.
Yeah, and you know both of these teams, their players have had this game circled all offseason because this is the first one. This is the first step towards winning a Big Ten championship. Both teams feel like they've got the playmakers to compete in conference this year, but it all starts today.
Doing damage on the ground as he runs it down to the 11-yard line. time, the defense was all over him. Nothing to show for that run. Dropping back, it's Hawkins. Lets it fly. To the end zone, and it's picked off.
And some defensive backs just have a way of finding the football. He's starting to develop that. His third interception on the season, just has a good feel for playing that spot in the back end.
And Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. A rather unproductive series last time, 3 and out, and they'll try to do better this time around. Grabbed over the middle, it's Williams. Just what they were looking for to get this drive rolling there out to the 35. They opened up this drive, getting all the way out to the 35, and now it's first down again. Got a man in the middle. They'll get the first down. It's spotted on the 49. New set of downs after the completion. Fired that thing out in a heartbeat, but it's incomplete. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on second down. They'll run it out of the shotgun. Gets it all the way down to the 39-yard line. It'll be a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. Incomplete thanks to the great defensive pressure there that sort of threw them out of rhythm. So now it's second and long. Off the play fake. And the quarterback will be slung down back at the 43. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On third and long, hoping to throw beyond the sticks. Just threw that one away to avoid disaster. Georgia sends out the punt team. Going to make sure he doesn't get a return on this one as the punt bounces out of bounds. And Washington is ready to go back on the attack. That last drive was a punch in the gut, throwing the pick in the red zone, Jesse.
Yeah, it just seemed like there was some...
And it's picked off for the fourth time today. Picked up a few extra on that return, but what a play by this defense to get the football.
I tell you what, it puts you in a tough position. And you can force a turnover, and you already set your offense up in scoring position, they are going to be extremely happy, and that offensive coordinator is going to look extremely smart.
Couldn't ask for better starting field position for this offense. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. They're dealing with a second and long. Takes a handoff. It's Robinson. It continues to be a long day as they are just swarming every time he gets the ball. Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Touchdown, Bulldogs! Made the grab and took it on in for the score.
How about the day for this young fella? 3 receiving touchdowns. Hey, defense, that guy's good. We might want to do something about it. Let's send 2 at him. Let's send 3 at him. We can't let this guy continue to beat us time and time again.
And the extra point is good, and it's a 4-point lead. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Hey, guys, just wanted to give you a quick update on a game happening in the MAC. Central Michigan has the lead right now. Mount Pleasant has been jumping all week, but this game is hardly over. There is time left on that clock. They're up by 10 over Northern Illinois. Any big developments here on the MAC, we've got you covered with the best studio team in the business. Guys?
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. Backed up now. Here's second and long. To throw, it's Hawkins. Pressure coming. He's dropped on the sack, and now the hill gets even steeper.
And he was virtually unblockable on that play. You know, it reminds me of seeing the highlights of my partner here, David Pollock, a guy that doesn't like to talk about his own greatness, so I'll do it for him. David raised the bar in the standard for D-line play at the University of Georgia. It was his athleticism. It was his tenacity. He wasn't just getting sacks and tackles for losses. He was picking off passes and taking them to the house. He was like the Honey Badger before the Honey Badger, but playing D-line. All-timer.
They've got a little time here to put together a productive drive late in the half. They'll start this drive going to the air. Bringing the heat. Pressure is on the way, and the pressure has arrived, and down he goes at the 30. These guys are bringing serious heat. They are like sharks swarming and just getting after the passer. Second down, they'll go to the air. Finds his tight end. They bring him down, but a solid pickup to put them in position to pick up a first down. On third and long, he's going to have to throw for it. That's caught. It's Taylor. They'll make the stop about a yard short of the first down. Georgia lining up to punt it away. They may have to pay him overtime. He's punting for the 5th time today. Takes it on the return. They'll get him down at the 21-yard line. The coverage team able to stop him right there. Plenty of time to work. Not any time to waste as they take over here in the final 2 minutes of the half. Looking downfield on first down. Nearly another interception. It'll be second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Lost the fire on second down. Got the quick pass. To the 43-yard line and a first down for this offense. Clock stops momentarily for the first down. They'll hurry to the line. Dropping back, it's Hawkins. Pocket breaking down. Able to get just a few before sliding to avoid the hits. The hurry up now, second down, clock ticking. They'll run play action. A shot toward the end zone. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. This dog crowd is off the leash, and they are coming after them, bringing noise on third. Pressure is effective from the defense. They knock him down just behind the midfield stripe at the 48. Timeout is called, and it's the defense wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this big down. He won't be able to return this one as it goes out of bounds. Wide receiver comes in motion. They're going to throw it to start the drive. The screen, he can go. Got the completion, but nowhere to go as that defense reacted quickly. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Caught in the backfield, it's Taylor. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there, still a bit short of the first down. They're facing a third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Snagged in the middle, it's Taylor. They got him free for a big gainer to the 43. And the Bulldogs have it with a 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. He let that thing fly quickly, but he couldn't make the connection. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Looking to go up top, and time's running out in the half.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly. That's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm.
Just inside the 30 at the 29, it's 1st and 10. Looking to throw on first down. Picked off, and they ruin an early drive with the turnover. And they make the play to stop the scoring opportunity just before the end of the half.
And we know turnover margin is a huge part of winning ball games. Interception number 2. His quarterback has to do a better job taking care of the football. Don't force it. Take the high completion percentage stuff. Don't always try to go for the big play.
Inside 30 seconds to play in the half. We'll see how aggressive they are on this drive. The give on the inside. And he finds some solid space, makes a nice game before the defense is able to stop it. We played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, looks like we've had a compelling start to things there in Athens. And it's been a struggle throwing the ball so far. Both secondaries are doing a great job neutralizing the explosive playmakers by shutting down passing windows. They've disrupted the timing and rhythm of these QBs, and unless something changes, we're looking at a low-scoring affair in this second half. And with that, let's send it back to the fellows between the hedges in Sanford Stadium.
The Dogs will try to kick this one deep to get things underway in the second half. Looking for blockers. And good work by the coverage team to get the return man down on the ground. The Huskies have it back, trying to make this defense bow down to Washington. Tight game as we start the third quarter, and we'll see what type of adjustments they made at halftime.
And getting the ball first here, I think, is such a...
And the pressure gets him back at the 8-yard line.
Play-action pass success has a lot to do with selling that fake. You could tell defense was not buying it, got in the backfield, got the big play.
Trying play action. Going for the big play. And they weren't able to make the connection. They were looking for an explosive play. Listen to this crowd just shaking the girders of this place, trying to help their defense. Makes a catch right in the middle of the danger zone. He couldn't find anywhere to go, and now it's 4th down. Washington sends out the punt team. 3 and out, they got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. He'll return it from the 50. They make the stop, and that is exactly what you want out of your punt cover unit. We're ready to get another look at this Bulldog offense. The pull and throw off the RPO. Didn't pick up a lot there, moved it forward just a few.
I don't know if that's the coverage you want to be throwing wide receiver screens against. Oftentimes, you want the receivers to have some access. You want the DBs to be off a couple of yards so you can help set up the blocks and give the receivers somewhere to go with it. It's hard to run that against press coverage, and they only picked up a few yards there.
And sometimes you see great shooters, and they get on fire, and they just can't miss. And that's what this QB looks like the last couple weeks, man. Just completion percentage through the roof, running the offense at an elite level. You can tell in complete control of this offense.
He did not make it a stone wall on 3rd down. And they're running out the kicker to give it a try. What a disappointment. No good. After the miss, the lead is still 4.
Oh, man, the dreaded doink. When you knock it off the crossbar, those are ones where, man, just a couple inches to the other side, towards the middle, and that thing's in, but it still counts as a missed opportunity.
Out of the gun, the running back has it. He breaks the tackle. They finally wrestle down the senior, but not before he picks up some valuable ground. They'll snap it from the 47 on 1st down. The RPO, fire complete to the left. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Looking to throw, it's Hawkins. Pressure is effective from the defense. They knock him down just behind the midfield stripe at the 48. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, you'll need to push it downfield. Snags it inside the 20. Corralled and forced out of bounds. Mark it right at the 16-yard line, and man, are they in business. This Washington offense moving quickly down the field. Tight end in motion, see how the D reacts. He'll pull it on the read. Great penetration by this defense, and they knock him down behind the line. A loss of 1. This drive facing a little adversity on 2nd and 11. Wants to go up top. Here comes the heat. It's incomplete. He was shooting for the end zone right there. The Dogs are barking and growling and trying to hold him here on 3rd From the gun, wants to pass. Fires toward the end zone. Touchdown, Huskies. And with that one, they jump on top here in the second half.
This guy is officially a problem. His second receiving touchdown of the game. Nice job by the offense. Dude, if I've got a matchup I like, continue to pick at it until they stop it.
And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Fellas, while we have a moment, let's peek in on what's going on in a big one in the American. North Texas has the lead right now. The good folks in Denton have been buzzing all week, but this game is hardly over. There is time left on that clock. They're up by 13 over Army. Ought to be fun, fellas, to see how things play out in this notable matchup in the American.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. Wants to go up top on first down. Quickly to the tight end. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they have a first down at the 43. Pass completion moved the sticks in. Let's see if they try it again. Got a man. It's Taylor. There he goes. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is.
Offside.
So the offense, more than happy with the result of the play, will decline the penalty. Boy, as a defense, you hate to just hand out first downs on a penalty. From the shotgun, they'll run it.
And that would be the definition of first down success. Putting yourself in a good position. It's second and inches. I can do whatever I want next. I can take a shot down the field. I can run the football and get a new set of downs. Like, nice first down execution.
Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Georgia coming out with a fresh set of downs. From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. They'll give it to the back. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it. Seventh play of the drive coming up, but a long way to go on third down. And his first pass is incomplete. It's fourth down, and they'll try the field goal. And he's going to have to get into this football. This is a 53-yard attempt. That thing would have hit a string in the middle of the uprights. Perfect. And that's going to tie it up. And we're all square as he's set to kick it away.
Well, that kid just showed off his hammer for a leg, 50-plus, and he did it with ease.
He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. And Washington is ready to go back on the attack. Complete to start this drive. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Man, what a finish we could have. Tie game, third quarter here, second and 10. Wants to throw. It's Hawkins. He'll pull it down.
Welcome to the frustrating reality of college football. Like, the guy at the quarterback spot, he can just do that. Pull it down, get positive yards, makes the defense have to account for him every single play.
Flips it out on the screen. He stopped at the 23 and still a ways to go to pick up the first down. The Huskies will be forced to boot it away. They'll have to punt for the fourth time today. He will signal for the fair catch and take it just inside the 35. And now this offense will take the field again. Quarterback on the keeper. Good pickup on the ground, and they'll mark him down at the 39. And here comes the offense on second down. Looking to fire. Fires it down the seam. Incomplete. He threw that one up for grabs and into traffic, and fortunate to get it back. On third and long, try to convert through the air. And it's incomplete despite some serious arm strength shown there. Georgia sends out the punt team. And these guys have been busy. Sixth punt of the day. Cover guys do their job, and they get him stopped at the 22-yard line. Huskies have it back, trying to make this defense bow down to Washington. Out of the gun, they give to the back. Good call, good execution as they move the chains, and they have a first down at the 38. They had the perfect play to open the drive, and now they'll snap it again from the 38. And how about that play by that giant, that mountain of a man on the defensive front? Now the play fake. Unloads to the wideout. Just a Barishnikov-like move on the sideline to tap that toe and get the first down. Use the play fake, now to throw. Grabbed behind the line, it's Eldridge. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. And now on second down for this offense. Back to throw, it's Hawkins. He lost it high and deep down the left side. Looking for the goal line. Can't quite cross the plane to get the 6, but they'll have the first down. With that last catch, he now breaks the 1,500-yard mark for his career.
And that's a pretty good accomplishment, man. Hitting 1,500 yards, that speaks to your consistency, your durability, and your playmaking ability, Palmer, to consistently make plays. Because when you got those guys, as a quarterback, you find them.
It's pretty nice. 1,500 yards, obviously a great number. The cool thing about him, though, he doesn't care about the stats. This guy just wants to win week in, week out. He's hungry, and he's made plays throughout his career.
The Sneak scores it.
And that's what makes this quarterback so dangerous, fellas. He can hurt you throwing the ball, but man, is he ever dangerous and explosive with his feet. You have got to be able to get this guy on the ground. If you don't, he has got way too much wiggle and speed. You saw it right there.
And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. It was finished off with the quarterback sneak. On the run from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. They'll start this drive from the 18-yard line. Power football with the run. Stopped in the backfield, and that'll be a loss of 2. Not what they had in mind to start this drive. Here comes 2nd and 13. Back to pass. Here's the pressure. Man, did he pay for it with that hit as he got rid of the ball. Not exactly the ideal situation for this offense. 3rd and long, backed up inside their 20. Looking to throw, and he needs a bunch. Stands in and takes the hit. Oh, it's picked off. What a bad time for a mistake like that. They make the tackle after the turnover, but hang on just a second. There's a flag on the field. Let's see if it stands. They'll decline the penalty here and let the result of that play stand. They want to run this quarterback. He has the first and still on his feet. And he gets out of there and gets some yardage and gets down without taking any punishment. Looking for a man. It's Hawkins. And the ball comes out. What a disastrous play. Well, the offense looks as if they fell on the fumble, and they'll keep the ball.
Man, those are backbreakers. Defensively, you get so excited. You force the fumble, I'm going to get a turnover. And the offense wins.
Really need to find a productive play this time on 2nd and long. Under fire. Can't make the connection, and the defense putting on the heat and forcing the incompletion. The Dogs are off the leash and coming after him on 3rd down. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. He's got an open man. That'll be enough for a first down, and they've got it at the 16-yard line. We've been treated to an aerial show by these two guys so far as you check out their numbers. 1 quarter to go, and might we have the makings of a classic fourth quarter finish. They go back to work in the final period of this one. The RPO, it's complete. They'll spot the ball at the 12 after that completion. Second down coming up in this red zone opportunity. Wants to throw again. Oh, they're after him. And he will get home, and the quarterback goes down at the 17.
Man, I think this quarterback needs to take his offensive line out for dinners more often because they're not protecting him. And sometimes it doesn't even look like they're trying. That now the 6th sack of the game for this defense.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. Dropping back, it's Hawkins. Unleashes one deep. Oh, and he dropped it. He had a touchdown right in his hands and couldn't hang on. It'll be 4th down. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. So on 4th down, here comes the field goal kicker in a huge spot. Absolutely perfect. And now the lead is even bigger. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Hey, guys, wanted to give you a quick update on a game happening in Conference USA. Jacksonville State is currently trailing in this one, but it feels like the tide may be turning. These Gamecocks have picked themselves up before, and they're capable of it again today. It's a tight one right now. They're trailing by only 5 to Middle Tennessee. Conference USA tends to make its presence felt, and we'll circle back with any big changes, guys.
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Bulldogs trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Looking for room, it's Robinson. Found just enough running room. He picks up 4 to the 15. You make up the game plan and not a lot on the play sheet for this. 3rd and long from inside their own 20. And that defense gets to him, and down he goes at the 9. Oh, man, they've already lost one quarterback today. Now the backup comes in and has to take a shot.
Man, I might think about protecting my QB a little better. I already lost one. Now your second guy gets hit, and you got to keep this guy healthy. You got to keep him upright. You got to protect your quarterback, man.
Down by multiple possessions. You can't come up empty on this drive. They'll go for it on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Intercepted, and the defense has set him up.
And that's a really good job by the defense, understanding the situation of football. It's 4th down. It's late in the game. You got a multi-possession lead. Take away all the deep stuff. Make them force the football into coverage. They do, and they stamp this game.
And Washington is ready to go back on the attack. David, they couldn't pay off that last drive with a touchdown.
Now they moved the ball down the field and executed like they wanted to until they stalled out and had to settle for a field goal.
I think if you want to take the next step, too, here and score a touchdown, you got to start finding more creative ways to get your best players the ball. Let's see if they can do that here.
Going to work in the red zone, they can pick up the 1st down without getting it into the end zone. From the gun, running back on the move. He's dragged down at the 12 as they try to cash in on this red zone opportunity. Enormous play coming right here. 3rd down, and this crowd is bringing down the house. And the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down. So here we are on 4th down, and this field goal kicker is going to face all the pressure in the world. Oh, and he missed it. No good. Lead is still in double digits, but missed a chance to make it bigger.
Well, that's one the kicker would like to have back. That's a kick he should be making in his sleep.
And Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. This certainly hasn't been their best day, but there's no time for mistakes now. They have to execute if they want to snatch this thing from the fire. Got the tight end outside. And he's down at the 41. That's a first down. Big chunk play to start this drive. Now they'll really try to take it to this defense. Incomplete. Man, is he lucky to get that one back. Defense that close to an interception. What will they dial up on second and a long way to go? The play action fake. Rushes on him. And the quarterback will take a sack back at the 36.
It's always so hard for offensive coordinators to adjust their game plan. When you lose your starting quarterback, now you got your backup in. A lot of times there's so much cautiousness, and you just don't want to run them that much, or you don't feel comfortable with the whole playbook, and you could see it there, and you could see the cautiousness, the hesitation led to a sack.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On third and long, a check down would be the last resort. That's caught. It's Taylor.
And this is not decision time. This offense, it's green light the rest of the game. Down multiple possessions, got to go for it on fourth down. Probably had that.
He hurls one deep down the left side. Incomplete on fourth down, and man, did they need to keep that drive alive. Great place to start for this offense. Leaves it with the running back. Knocked down at the 35 after a pickup of 3. Got 3 on first down and second and 7. Give to the back. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
It's going to be tough sledding for the offense here. They're trying to ice this game by running the football and bleeding the clock. They've got a pretty good lead here late in the game, but the defense knows the run's coming, right? So they're going to be loading the line of scrimmage, getting stops like what they just did. Be interesting to see what the offense does on this next one.
He can't haul it in. Incomplete. He had him on the crossing route, and he dropped it. And now on fourth down, they will put it on the shoulders of the kicker to save them with his foot. Never a doubt. And that lead grows even bigger.
I really like the decision by this offense because now they got to score 2 touchdowns. Time is not on their side. I can stay very, very conservative. Use that clock. I like the decision by this offense.
And he takes this from inside the 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. We're ready to get another look at this Bulldog offense. They're in a precarious spot here, that lofty perch in the rankings, hanging in the balance unless they can do something to save themselves here. Plenty of work to do here on second and long. Off play action. Makes the catch. It's Robinson. He's knocked out of bounds, but not before he gets it to the 25. And the Dogs line up trying to move the sticks on third and short. Looking to pass. It's Beckham. Nowhere to go, and the ball is loose. Defense falls on the ball. Going to be a turnover. And the quarterback just ran out of time there, and they were able to knock it free.
Quarterbacks have got to do a great job keeping 2 hands on the football, especially in passing situations like that, because you know defenders are swatting at the ball. Even if you can't see them, these guys, they're 6'5", 6'6", they've got long arms. They're trying to rip and tug away and get that ball out of your hands. A QB will learn from this play. He's got to do a better job with his fundamentals.
The give to the back. He's pulled down after a tough run, gets it to the 6. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. Rides the back on the option, the give. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. Just going to keep it after the snap. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. His field goal unit getting some serious run. They've already been out there 3 times. The kicker will try it again. There is no doubt. At this point in the game, this crowd knows how big this kick could be.
Give the defense a ton of credit in this sudden change situation. Their offense just coughed it up. And this defense comes out, they go 3 and out and force a field goal. That's a win if you're on defense.
On the move from inside his 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. And Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. Not the day they had hoped to have, but when you are a ranked team, you are going to get everyone's best shot. Now let's see if they can pull this one out. Clock is under 4 minutes as they come to the line for second down. The give to the running back from the shotgun. Get some work done there. Pick up a 4 to the 22. Georgia going up tempo. To the air, it's Beckham. He lobs one high down the left side. And they can't hook up on the big play, and that brings up a 4th down. No signs of any kind of kicker as they'll leave the offense out there to try to move those chains. Makes the grab. It's Riley. Chain gang on the move. It'll be a 1st down at the 29.
I think if you're the head coach at this point, you're telling your offense, it doesn't matter what's happened up to this point of the game. Obviously, things haven't gone our way, but we have a chance to execute in a 2-minute situation and give ourselves a chance to win. Let's go do it one play at a time.
Georgia going back to work with another 1st down.
And this offense is going to have to be aggressive, right? Down a couple possessions. Got to continue to get these 1st downs. Move quick. Don't be in a hurry. But they've got to keep the accelerator down because they need some explosive plays.
No huddle offense to the line.
And defensively, this is exactly what you want, right? You got the big lead so you can play big zone coverages.
And it's picked off for the 3rd time today. Bringing it back. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
The #1 objective for a defense is to make the offense one-dimensional. Well, when they're trailing by this much late in the game, they're one-dimensional. They have to pass the football. We can bring more speed on the field. You see it. We know you're throwing the football. Nice break on the football. Nice interception. This one's almost over.
The Huskies have it back, trying to make this defense bow down to Washington. Always good to get points on a drive, David, but chip shot field goals can leave you a little empty.
Yeah, I think it's great to get points, but the great teams get touched.
This will be picked off, maybe just the turning point they needed. And a big return after the INT sets up the offense for this possession. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the offense heads out onto the field to get the drive started. Looking to throw, it's Beckham. Pressure is effective from the defense. They knock him down just behind the midfield stripe at the 48. Now facing 2nd and long after the defense came up with that sack. Under fire. And this defense goes back-to-back sack, Jack. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, he'll need to loosen up that arm. Catch in the middle, it's Taylor. He stopped short, and it's 4th down. It's 4th down, and they can make the field goal from here, but it looks as if they're going to leave the offense out there. They're throwing for it on 4th down. Oh, he dropped it. He just lost his concentration and didn't look it all the way in. A bold decision to go for it on 4th down and one that did not pay off. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it. Timeout called here by the defense. It's their 1st of the half. 2nd down, they'll go to the air. Finds his man down the middle. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. This dog crowd is off the leash, and they are coming after them, bringing noise on 3rd down. They'll try to get the 1st through the air. Looking to the big tight end. Makes the grab. He's got enough for the 1st down, and that ought to be enough to put them in victory formation for the rest of this one. The Huskies come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Happy with the situation, the quarterback will take a knee. sort of think that over the years you get immune to these types of upsets, but this one is a shocker that might go on the list of all time.
Dude, huge win. Like, you can't say enough about being a team with a considerable talent disadvantage. Like, you're the underdog for a reason. You go with, this is a top 10 team you're playing against. Like, everything says you shouldn't win, but Palmer, they came out and they absolutely took care of business.
Yeah, they showed up in the biggest moment. You got to give these players a ton of credit. They may not be as talented as their opponent, but this was a game and an opportunity that they took advantage of. They made the plays they needed to make. They put the rest of college football on alert with this win. This is one these fans will be talking about for years and years to come.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.